As Paul Heyman would say, ladies and gentlemen, my client, Brock Lesnar, has come back to defeat John Cena. And yes, that's right, people, Brock Lesnar came back tonight for Raw, and I have a lot of stuff to talk about on Raw tonight. If I needed to drink some water, sorry, but I have a lot of stuff to cover. But yeah, Brock Lesnar's back in the WWE, very exciting. And yeah, guys, I'm just going to get right into this Monday Night Raw review. So, to start off the show, we had Triple H come out and say he's mad that John Cena is still the champion. And then, sorry for stopping, guys. I'll talk about this, I'll talk about this thing here. So Triple H comes out, says he's mad that Cena is still the champion. And then he made fun of the internet wrestling community, saying Triple H was saying he's going to voice his displeasure by using social media like Twitter, Instagram, Vine, etc. And it was pretty funny the way he was making fun of the people on the internet who always complain about the WWE. It was pretty funny. And then Randy Orton and Kane come out and say they each deserve a title shot. And then Roman Reigns comes out and says he should face John Cena. And then Superman punches Kane. And then Triple H says Roman Reigns faces Kane and Randy Orton in a handicap match. So a pretty good start to Raw with the promos and the action and all that. So good start to Raw. And then we had the handicap match of Randy Orton and Kane versus Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns won. It was a pretty boring match. It was a pretty boring match to start off Raw, in my opinion, because it was a handicap, and it was just so boring. It was pretty predictable that Roman Reigns would win. So it was a pretty boring match to start off Raw. And then this was not really good at first. Then they had a 4-on-1. They had a 4-on-1 handicap match with Rosa Mendez, Alicia Fox, Eva Marie, Cameron versus Nikki Bella. And this is, again, because they're torturing Nikki Bella. This is the whole Stephanie is mad at Brie Bella, so she's torturing Brie Bella's sister, Nikki Bella. And then Brie Bella was actually in the crowd this week. She was as a fan. She was just a fan in attendance, rooting or cheering on her sister and all that. And then Stephanie McMahon comes out and kicks Brie Bella out of the building. And like I said, she was sitting in attendance, and Brie Bella had called Stephanie a vindictive bitch, and then Stephanie slapped her, and then Brie Bella got kicked out of the building. So that was all that excitement, and then I'm going to skip to the other thing that happened with that. To continue on to that, let's see here. Oh yeah, and then later on in the show, after Flo Rida had I'll talk about that too, but and then later on in the show, after Flo Rida had performed his songs, then two policemen came into Raw by the announcers table where Stephanie McMahon was, and then two policemen arrested Stephanie and took her out of Raw for striking Brie Bella and for assault and all that. So Stephanie McMahon got arrested on Raw tonight, and then Triple H was all worried about that, and that was all pretty entertaining, but I thought they kind of dragged it out a bit, and they kept on showing it over and over again on the Titantron. By about the third time, I was like, alright, we get it, Stephanie McMahon is arrested, let's get over it. So, there was all that, and then it was funny because then Triple H was debating whether or not to go see Stephanie McMahon and pick her up from the police station, but he's like, well, I still have to finish the show. I still need to announce who John Cena will face at Summerslam. So then he decided not to go get Stephanie McMahon right away, which I thought was pretty funny. And then leading on to that, leading on to the whole Paul Heyman thing, when this all was happening, Cesaro announced backstage to Triple H that he's no longer a Paul Heyman guy, and that he wants to work for the Authority. So this could be good that Cesaro is going to work for the Authority now with Triple H and all that. That's only going to help his career working with Triple H. but I don't like the way he just said, all of a sudden just says, I'm not a Paul Heyman guy anymore. They should have done something more for that, in my opinion. I just didn't like the way that all went. To me, what they could have done was they could have had Cesaro with Paul Heyman for a while, and then Cesaro either gets tired of Brock Lesnar or Brock Lesnar gets tired of Cesaro, and then Brock Lesnar F5 Cesaro, and then Paul Heyman's like, you're no longer a Paul Heyman guy. Or they could have just done something like that. I just didn't like the way this all happened. I mean, Cesaro has been a Paul Heyman guy for months now, and then just out of the blue, he's like, alright, I'm no longer a Paul Heyman guy, I want to work for the Authority. That just doesn't really have much logic to that. Not really too much logic in that, so I didn't really like that too much, but it'll be interesting now to see what happens to Cesaro, but they should have gone about that a whole different way. So, yeah, and then, let's see, and then leading into the main event here, then Triple H comes out and tells who Cena will face at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then Randy Orton comes out and comes out to the ring, but then gets jumped by Roman Reigns, and they brawl in the crowd for a while, and then they go backstage and keep on brawling, so Randy Orton's not facing John Cena. And then, as predicted, Brock Lesnar, then Paul Heyman comes out and convinces Triple H to go with Plan C, which is Brock Lesnar, and Triple H accepts. So, Brock Lesnar will face John Cena at SummerSlam. We all pretty much knew this. It was all predicted. They were leaking Brock Lesnar versus John Cena poster for SummerSlam. So, looking forward to it. And then after Triple H accepted and Brock Lesnar was announced, then Paul Heyman cuts a promo saying how some fans cheer for Cena and some fans don't, but Brock Lesnar doesn't care because he's going to give Cena a beating of a lifetime. And then says that the last person to stand in Brock Lesnar's way got beaten down, and they showed on the Titantron Brock Lesnar conquering The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. And then Paul Heyman says John Cena can't escape this beating, and that Brock will beat Cena at SummerSlam. So, I mean, it was a pretty intense promo, and it was a good promo by Paul Heyman. I mean, he was really rubbing it into the fans that he beat The Undertaker and all this other stuff, and that he was the one behind the one in 21 or something like that. But either way, good promo by Paul Heyman. He's always good on the mic. So good stuff there. And so yeah, pretty good main event. Pretty good having Brock Lesnar back. I thought they did a pretty good job with that. So yeah, now I'll get to the other stuff, guys. Now that I got the major stuff out of the way. We had Bo Dallas versus Damian Sandow. Damian Sandow had a LeBron James Miami Heat jersey on that was labeled Cleveland, and so he was making fun of Miami, saying he's taking his talents to Cleveland, and then Bo Dallas wins. I liked that Sandow was making fun of Miami here, even though they gotta stop varying Sandow. I don't know what they're doing with Sandow, but they gotta stop. They just got to go back to the way he was before without all this goofiness. But it was funny, though, the way that he made fun of it and all that. Made fun of LeBron James. But then Bo Dallas won, and I didn't care anymore. And then we had the Chris Jericho highlight reel with guest star Bray Wyatt. But I guess Eric Rowan and Luke Harper had attacked Y2J before Bray Wyatt walked out. The Wyatt family had attacked Y2J in the locker room. Before Bray Wyatt walked out to the ring. And then Bray Wyatt says he is our savior, unlike Jericho, and that even though Jericho won at Battleground, he is still not better than Bray Wyatt. And it was an okay segment and promo. I kind of wish they didn't attack Chris Jericho, though, because they could have used him for this segment. I mean, I wish they would have had... I get why they attacked Chris Jericho, but I just think it would have been better if he was in this highlight reel segment, but can't really do much about it. I guess they were running low on time for this 3-hour Raw, I don't know, but yeah, I just would have gone about it a different way than attacking Chris Jericho. And then we had the new Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, versus Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler gets the upset victory. And it was a good, fast-paced match. Good fast-paced match with lots of reversals and counters. And to me, it was the match of the night. Good match between The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. They both put on a good match. Match of the night. So yeah, I already announced the Cesaro thing. Then they had Paige and AJ versus Emma and Natalya. Paige and AJ win. And then finally, after the match, Paige turns on AJ. So Paige has turned heel. She's a bad guy now, which I think will work much better for this feud now that she's a heel and AJ's the face. Now hopefully we'll get some good Diva matches. I did not watch Battleground, but hopefully now we'll get a good match between these two, since that Paige is now the heel. And hopefully now Mr. McMahon will be more high on Paige now that she's a heel instead of a face. And then we had Zack Ryder versus Fandango, and all I gotta say is that finally Zack Ryder is on Raw. I mean, when was the last time we saw Ryder on Raw? It was a long time ago. And so Zack Ryder won, and he got to walk out of the ring with Summer Rae and Layla, which was pretty funny. So, what do you know? Zack Ryder finally was on Raw, Ryder won a match, and he walked out with 2 divas. Not a bad night for Zack Ryder. And then, before Stephanie McMahon got arrested and all that, we had Flo Rida do a performance and do a few songs. It was an okay performance. At least some of the crowd was interested. I mean, some of the crowd was cheering, some of the crowd was standing up and dancing, and then there was just other fans just sitting on their asses. I mean, it could have been a little better, but it was an okay performance for what it was. I mean, it's not like a concert or anything, but it was an okay performance. Let's see, and then we had Rybaxel versus Kofi and Big E. Rybaxel won. Pretty lame match. It was a lame match. But then after the match, it looks like to me, because there was some guy talking to Big E and Kofi, and it looks like as if he was convincing Big E and Kofi to turn heel. So maybe now they'll turn heel. I mean, they've been faces for a while now, and Kofi Kingston has never been a heel. So it would be interesting to see him be a heel. Then we had the Great Khali versus Rusev. I'm not even going to go on. I think you guys know who won this match. And we had Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro. Cesaro wins by disqualification after Ambrose hits him with a chair. It was a pretty good match until up to the disqualification. I thought they could have gone on a little bit longer. I thought maybe they could have decided a victory. But I guess Dean Ambrose just wanted to hit him with a chair. So, yeah, but still a pretty good match. Just wish they didn't have it end in disqualification. And I already told you guys about the whole Brock Lesnar thing, so I don't need to go over that. So for Raw this week, it was pretty good. It had some good matches and promos. It dragged a little, but it was still a decent show. A decent show. It had a few good matches, good promos. It was good seeing Brock Lesnar back. We'll have to see what happens now next week on Raw, if John Cena will be back and if he'll have anything to say to Brock Lesnar, or if they'll start to brawl. We'll have to find out. But either way, guys, I hope you liked my review. Like my video, comment on my video, subscribe to my channel. It really helps out my channel. And I hope you guys have a good week.